We provide support, financial support, with school uniform vouchers for every child. Unfortunately, the budget has been reduced this year, and we were able to provide support only for children who transferred from primary to secondary school, and it caused a lot of disappointment and obviously difficulties for families.
What I like about Newham is there's a lot of stuff to do, like holidays, get to come walk in the park, get to play with your friends, get to have lots of fun, and it's quite a safe place to be.
This year particularly we've cut on it, and I had many phone calls on the beginning of the school year, parents going to say that they are not able to afford to buy a school uniform, and therefore they might not send their children to school. And in this case I advised them to go to schools and inquire about possible help, because obviously we couldn't support them. But it's a very big issue for families who may have a few children, and obviously the expense is quite high. Moreover, parents argued that children don't want to go to school when wearing an old and used uniform, because other children laughed at them or pick on them, so there is some bullying going on in there, and it's just not good for inclusion.
Over the years in Newham, we have been extremely concerned with regard to government funding for the London Borough of Newham. And in the mid-80s, we ran a campaign called, I forgot what it was called now, Fair Deal for Newham, which had some success in increasing the funding for Newham. And then in the early 90s, we ran a campaign called the Newham Needs Campaign. That actually demonstrated that Newham was underfunded to the tune of £48 million. And we now welcome the Child Poverty Campaign, because this is all about, at the end of the day, getting extra funding for Newham, particularly what we want is inner London status for Newham, such that the funding in schools can improve the life chances of the children of Newham.
Well, you've got so much stuff to do, everything, there's so many things just happening. Like in the park, near Rosetta Primary, they've made stuff where it was full of stinging nettles, and now they've made it into a recreation ground.
Schools would be more secure with their budget, so that they could take on additional staff to support children without the worry that it was a limited period funding and it would run out after 2 years, so people also wouldn't be on temporary contracts. Schools may be able to look to reducing class size, but also putting in additional adults to support children before school and after school, because those living in poor accommodation, which is an awful lot of them, need somewhere calm and quiet to do studies at home, whether they're primary or secondary children, just to read to people. So it would be a case of having the budget behind you to put those measures in place.
Newham has a real issue at the moment with its housing stock, which means that the people that are lucky enough to be housed in Newham are often put in housing which is not suitable, either in terms of the size, so leading to a lot of problems of overcrowding, but also in terms of how dilapidated that accommodation may be.
What I like about it is there's a little area where you can play in, and they might build some stuff, and they said that we could help them build it, and I like about it because there's a little park across the road where you can play in and do stuff.
just in terms of the effects that that kind of bad housing, dilapidated housing has on children, there has been a lot of research by Shelter and other people about how that housing affects, firstly, well-being, but actually health in terms of illnesses such as asthma, and obviously the risk of accidents for smaller children as well are a lot higher. Safety in those houses, if you're in an area where your windows are broken. We've had a lot of children that have come to us saying they don't feel safe in their houses because the houses are not properly protected. They don't have proper doors, they don't have proper windows. So it is a huge issue.
It's fun, there's a park and you get to play golf like this.